They call him the Great One, a name so powerful it has replaced his own, a title that doesn't just describe greatness but defines it. Wayne Gretzky wasn't simply good at hockey. He was the standard by which every other player has been measured. But here's the real question. Just how extraordinary was Wayne Gretzky in his prime? Was he merely the best of his generation, or was he operating on a level that no one else could even touch? Sports have always produced legends, players who seem to rise above the rest. But in hockey, no figure has towered over the game like Wayne Gretzky. Born on January 26, 1961 in the small Canadian city of Brantford, Ontario, Gretzky's story reads like something out of a sports fairy tale. From frozen backyard ponds to the dazzling lights of the National Hockey League, his rise wasn't just impressive, it was almost unbelievable. Picture this, a boy barely tall enough to lace up his own skates, yet already playing the game with a vision that most grown men could never hope to match. In a family where hockey wasn't just a pastime but a way of life, Gretzky's earliest arena was right outside his back door. That backyard rink, nicknamed the Wally Coliseum, under the watchful eye of his father, Walter, Wayne practiced endlessly, repeating drills, experimenting with angles, and learning to see the game in ways no one else could. What set him apart wasn't just raw talent, it was obsession. While other kids played until they got cold or bored, Gretzky pushed past limits most children never thought about. His parents, Walter and Phyllis, gave him more than just skates and sticks. They gave him discipline, structure, and a belief that greatness required both creativity and sacrifice. Walter became his first real coach, not only teaching him techniques but also instilling a deep love for the game that carried him far beyond that backyard rink. Gretzky's early years were defined by more than just natural ability. They were marked by relentless dedication. He wasn't just skating, he was studying, absorbing every nuance, shaping himself into something the hockey world had never seen. His journey was proof that greatness doesn't appear fully formed. It is carved, tested, and strengthened long before the world takes notice. But soon, the world would notice, and when it did, hockey would never be the same. At just 17 years old, Wayne Gretzky stepped into the biggest stage in hockey, the NHL. The year was 1979, and he joined the Edmonton Oilers, a team that would soon become a dynasty. From the very beginning, Gretzky's arrival felt like a storm breaking across the league. He wasn't just another rookie, he was something entirely new. But here's what makes his story even more unbelievable. He didn't go straight to the NHL. The year before, he was drafted into the World Hockey Association, playing briefly for the Indianapolis Racers. It didn't last long. The team quickly traded him to Edmonton, and that's where history truly began. Imagine being a teenager, barely out of high school, and suddenly carrying the weight of an entire franchise on your shoulders. For Gretzky, it wasn't pressure, it was fuel. In his very first NHL season, Gretzky tied for the league lead in scoring. He wasn't just holding his own, he was outpacing veterans who had been playing for a decade. He scored 51 goals and stacked up 86 assists, a performance so dazzling it earned him the Hart Memorial Trophy as the league's most valuable player. That was year one, and then came year two. Gretzky did something no one thought was possible. He scored 92 goals in a single season. 92. To this day, no player has come close to breaking that record. These weren't just numbers, they were shockwaves ripping through the hockey world. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. Opponents couldn't figure out how to stop him. It was as if Gretzky was rewriting the very rules of the game, bending time and space on the ice in ways that defied logic. Season after season, his dominance only grew. Records shattered, expectations crushed, and the NHL, an entire league filled with the best players in the world, was being reshaped around a single man. Gretzky wasn't playing hockey, he was reinventing it. Can you picture being in the arena watching him glide across the ice? Every time he touched the puck, thousands of fans would hold their breath, waiting for the magic. Because with Wayne Gretzky, magic didn't just happen occasionally, it happened every single night. By the mid-1980s, Wayne Gretzky wasn't just the face of the Edmonton Oilers, he was the heartbeat of an unstoppable force. His vision, his touch, and his leadership were turning a young, hungry team into something far greater. A dynasty in the making. The moment that proved it came in 1984. The Oilers faced the mighty New York Islanders in the Stanley Cup Finals. The Islanders were no ordinary opponent. They had already won 4 straight championships. They were the kings of hockey, and many believed their reign was untouchable. But Gretzky and his Oilers saw something different, an empire ready to fall. The series was electric. In 5 games, the Oilers dethroned the Islanders, seizing their very first Stanley Cup. It wasn't just a victory, it was a changing of the guard. The old dynasty ended and a new one, powered by Gretzky's brilliance, had begun. In that playoff run alone, Gretzky racked up 35 points in just 19 games. Think about that. He was averaging nearly 2 points every single night against the best defenders in the world under the most intense pressure of the season. Even when the Conn Smythe Trophy, the playoff MVP award, went to his teammate Mark Messier, there was no doubt who the driving force had been. Gretzky was the conductor of the orchestra, the mastermind behind the Oilers' triumph. And he wasn't finished. The very next year, he brought the Oilers back to the finals, and this time he took home the Conn Smythe Trophy himself. By then, Gretzky wasn't just winning championships, he was breaking the limits of what anyone thought possible. Take the 1985-86 season. Gretzky shattered his own record for points in a single year, posting an unbelievable 215. That record still stands untouched decades later. To put that into perspective, most elite players dream of hitting 100 points in a season. Gretzky more than doubled that, effortlessly. These weren't just stats. These were numbers so outrageous they seemed to come from another world. And yet, that was Gretzky's world. For nearly a decade, he averaged close to 200 points per season. Night after night, season after season, he was untouchable. 4 Stanley Cups in 5 years, 9 MVP awards, 10 scoring titles. It was dominance unlike anything hockey had ever seen or may ever see again. To watch him in those years was to witness the impossible. He wasn't just the best player on the ice, he was redefining what best even meant. With Gretzky leading the way, the Oilers weren't just winning, they were rewriting hockey history, one dazzling play at a time. What made Wayne Gretzky so extraordinary wasn't just the goals or the records, it was the way he played the game itself. Watching him was like watching someone see the ice in slow motion while everyone else raced at full speed. He didn't just react to plays, he predicted them, sometimes 3 steps ahead. Imagine a chess grandmaster moving pieces across the board, anticipating every possible outcome. That was Gretzky on skates. He seemed to know where the puck was going before it even left another player's stick. Teammates often said it felt like he had a sixth sense, an invisible map of the rink that only he could see. That's why his assist numbers were just as legendary as his goals. He didn't have to score to dominate, he could thread impossible passes through a maze of defenders, setting up his teammates with chances that left crowds gasping. It was almost as if he had eyes in the back of his head. Fans would watch a highlight and ask themselves, how did he even see that play? But Gretzky wasn't just a flashy playmaker. His entire style of hockey was revolutionary. While others relied on brute strength or blazing speed, Gretzky mastered positioning, timing, and pure intelligence. He floated to the right spots on the ice, always ready, always in control. His skating looked effortless, like he was gliding instead of straining. That calm, smooth style was deceptive, because underneath it, Gretzky was orchestrating chaos for the opposing team. Hockey is a brutal sport. It demands speed, toughness, and lightning-fast decisions. Yet Gretzky made it look graceful. Thin steel blades slicing across the ice, split-second choices turning into masterpieces. He blended finesse with strategy in a way no one had ever seen. He wasn't simply playing hockey, he was reinventing how it could be played. And then there was his presence. Whenever he stepped on the ice, everything changed. You could feel the electricity in the arena rise. Fans leaned forward in their seats. Defenders panicked. Teammates lifted their play. Gretzky didn't just lead with his stick. He led with an energy that inspired everyone around him. That's the mark of someone who doesn't just play the game, but elevates it. Wayne Gretzky's greatness wasn't a single skill or a single season. It was the combination of intelligence, vision, precision, and leadership, an entire package that turned him into something far beyond an ordinary player. He was hockey's masterpiece, painted in real time on the ice. Even legends face storms. For Wayne Gretzky, his aura of invincibility was built on years of brilliance, but it was also tested by criticism, pressure, and the harsh realities of the game. Yet somehow, even in his toughest moments, Gretzky never stopped shining. Believe it or not, when he first entered the NHL, critics said he was too small and too fragile to survive in such a rugged league. Some even called him selfish, accusing him of hogging the puck. For most players, those words might have stung, maybe even slowed them down. But Gretzky let his game do the talking. Every assist, every goal, every record-breaking performance was his answer to the doubters. He turned criticism into fuel. The pressure that was constant. Imagine stepping onto the ice every single night knowing the world expected you not just to win, but to be spectacular. For Gretzky, carrying that weight was part of the job. And while most players cracked under that spotlight, Gretzky thrived in it. But even the great one was not immune to pain. Injuries crept in over the years, most notably a herniated disc in his back that sidelined him for long stretches. Missing games was frustrating, but it also revealed another side of Gretzky, his resilience. He worked tirelessly to recover, always returning with the same elegance and sharpness that defined his game. And then came 1988, the trade. Wayne Gretzky leaving the Edmonton Oilers for the Los Angeles Kings wasn't just news, it was an earthquake. Fans in Edmonton were heartbroken and hockey fans across Canada were stunned. Many called it the most shocking trade in sports history. Gretzky, though, embraced the challenge. Instead of crumbling under the pressure of a new city, he brought hockey into the spotlight in a place where the sport had never truly thrived. He turned Los Angeles, a market built on basketball and baseball, into a hockey town almost overnight. Through it all, Gretzky's aura remained. Whether in Edmonton or Los Angeles, whether facing criticism or injury, he carried himself with the same grace, the same quiet confidence. He wasn't just proving he could play, he was proving that greatness can adapt, survive, and still dominate no matter the obstacles. Wayne Gretzky's challenges didn't weaken his legend. If anything, they made it stronger. Because seeing him endure, adapt, and still perform at the highest level reminded everyone that his greatness wasn't just about talent, it was about heart. He didn't just set records, he set standards. He didn't just play the game, he changed it forever. Look at the numbers alone and they feel almost unreal. 92 goals in a season, 215 points in another, nearly 3,000 points across his career. These are not just statistics. They are monuments, towering achievements that no player has ever matched, and maybe no one ever will. But Gretzky's true impact can't be measured on paper. His move to Los Angeles in 1988 didn't just change a team, it transformed the NHL itself. Suddenly, hockey was thriving in markets where it had never taken root: California, Arizona, Texas. Places that once had little connection to frozen ponds now had kids dreaming of being the next Gretzky. He was more than a player, he was an ambassador who expanded the reach of hockey across North America and beyond. And it wasn't only on the ice where Gretzky left his mark. In 1999, he founded the Wayne Gretzky Foundation, dedicated to giving young people opportunities to experience the game he loved. Years later, he partnered with the Boys and Girls Club of America, raising millions to support youth programs. For Gretzky, greatness wasn't just about winning, it was about giving back. Yet what may be most remarkable is how, through all the fame and all the glory, Wayne Gretzky remained humble. Teammates, coaches, and fans alike often describe him with the same word: approachable. He signed autographs, he smiled for photos, he talked to kids who looked up at him wide-eyed. He never carried himself like a superstar. He carried himself like someone grateful for the game. Today, when we look back on Gretzky's career, it's easy to focus on the goals, the cups, and the trophies. But his legacy runs deeper. It's in the way he inspired generations of players to chase their dreams. It's in the fans who still remember the electricity of seeing him glide across the ice. And it's in every corner of the world where hockey found new life because of him. Wayne Gretzky will forever be the great one. Not just for what he did, but for how he made people feel proud, inspired, and connected through the game he loved. His story is proof of what passion, dedication, and vision can achieve. Now think about it. What's your favorite Gretzky moment? Was it a jaw-dropping goal, an unbelievable pass, or maybe just the memory of watching him redefine the sport? Share it in the comments. We'd love to hear it. And if you want more stories about hockey's greatest legends, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss the next one. Because when you talk about hockey history, there's only one name that stands above the rest: Wayne Gretzky, the Great One.